You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. The Options Insider Radio Network is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. At Fidelity, you'll always get a great value for your options trades. And with powerful investing tools that provide clear next steps, plus independent research and a wide range of investment types, we can help you make better trading decisions. Learn more about options trading with Fidelity at fidelity.com/options. Options trading entails significant risk and is not appropriate for all investors. Certain complex option strategies carry additional risk. Before trading options, contact Fidelity Investments by calling 800-544-5115 to receive a copy of the characteristics and risks of standardized options. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, October 16th, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Tuesday. First thing to know is Netflix reports earnings. Netflix results are due out after the closing bell, and it'll be today's main event as a busy week for earnings rolls along. The streaming giant is forecast to report adjusted earnings per share of 68 cents on revenue of $4 billion for the third quarter, according to estimates. Perhaps of greater interest, Wall Street will be closely watching subscriber growth numbers. Netflix said in its second quarter letter to shareholders that it expects to add some 5 million subscribers in the third quarter, down from 5.3 million ads in the same quarter last year. That was up around 0.8% in Tuesday's pre-market. The second thing to know today is Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley results are also in focus. Besides Netflix, market participants will focus on financial results from 2 of the U.S.'s largest investment banks. Morgan Stanley is slated to release third quarter earnings at 6:55 a.m. Eastern Time, and analysts are forecasting earnings per share of $1.02 on revenue, $1.02 per share on revenue of $9.56 billion. And Goldman Sachs is set to follow with its Q3 report at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Wall Street analysts expected the firm to post earnings per share of $5.40 and revenue of $8.37 billion. The third thing to know today is Wall Street is set for a modest bounce. U.S. stock futures earlier indicated a slightly higher open as investors looked ahead to a slew of corporate releases and economic data. The fourth thing to know today, oil prices dip ahead of the API report. In commodity markets, oil prices ticked lower ahead of the release of fresh weekly data on U.S. commercial crude inventories. The American Petroleum Institute is due to release its weekly report for the week ended October 12th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, amid expectations of an increase of about 1.1 million barrels. U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude futures were down 59 cents or 0.8% at $71.19 a barrel. International Brent crude futures were at $80.20 a barrel. That's 58 cents or 0.7% lower from their last close. Oil traders were also keeping an eye on mounting geopolitical tensions between Saudi Arabia and the West over the disappearance of a prominent Saudi journalist. Fifth thing to know today is there's upcoming data. On the data front, the U.S. Redbook data is due at 8:55 a.m. Eastern, followed by industrial production numbers for September at 9:15 a.m. Eastern. The latest housing market index is scheduled today, came out, is then due at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, along with the August report on the JOLTS job openings, which should give investors a sense of how much slack remains in the labor market. The dollar index was largely unchanged at 94.80. Our second story today is from investing.com. Investors are the gloomiest on world growth in a decade. They cut U.S. equity holdings, says a BAML report. Global investors have the most pessimistic outlook on the world economy since the 2008 financial crisis, according to Bank of America Merrill Lynch's monthly survey, which also showed a sharp fall in U.S. equity allocations. The survey released on Tuesday was conducted October 5th to 11th and canvassed investors managing $646 billion. It showed investors remained overweight equities overall, though the 22% overweight was just marginally off the record low of 19%. But in a sign of caution, they held cash at 5.1%, a net 36% overweight, and well above the 4.5% 10-year average. The poll showed that a net 38% of respondents expected the global economy to slow, the worst outlook on global growth since November 2008. A net 35% of participants identified trade war as the biggest risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, Tuesday, October 16th, 2018, your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli, Trade Smart, and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.